Hi, this is Mike from thesubstream.com, and this is an episode of Watch This Instead, the first of 2010 for the week ending Friday, the 8th of January, 2010. Just calm down. I'd like to talk about a really cool movie that's coming out this week called Daybreakers. Ryo and I caught it at the Toronto International Film Festival in the Midnight Madness section this past fall, and we loved it. It's great. It's made by these two Australian brothers called the Spearing Brothers, who also made a film called Undead, which is also really cool, that you should watch if you can find it. We loved Daybreakers, didn't we?
We did.
You can watch our little documentary that we made about the screening and that night at Midnight Madness by clicking around on our website down there, thesubstream.com. The film is doing what a lot of films and TV shows are doing recently. They're using vampirism as a metaphor to explore other issues. The way True Blood uses vampirism as a metaphor to explore socio-political issues like sexuality, homosexuality. The way Twilight uses vampirism to explore issues about weird Mormon love stories and teenage boohooism. Daybreakers, though, isn't really that sexy at all. It's scary, and it's about resource depletion. It's about what happens to a world full of vampires when they run out of blood. For blood, metaphor, insert gas, oil, gas and oil being the same thing, water, fresh air, you name it. It's an environmental movie, and it's way more exciting than the Al Gore one. What's cool, though, about Daybreakers is that, yeah, while it's using vampires as a metaphor to explore issues about our world, which is a kind of thing that's popular now, but it's always been done, is that it's got a fealty to the real old-fashioned bits of the vampire myth that a lot of new vampire stuff kind of just ignores as being too cheesy. The vampires in Daybreakers, for example, can't go in the sun, they don't have diamond skin, they have to drive around in cars with video cameras to point them where to go during the daytime. You can't see them in mirrors, they're hungry, they're strong. It's true speculative fiction about what a world full of these type of real vampire dudes and dudettes might be like. It's really entertaining. But if you don't want to go to the theater this weekend, I don't blame you, because it's really cold and the roads are so full of snow. What should you watch instead? Watch one or both of two of our favorite vampire movies. The first is Near Dark, directed by Kathryn Bigelow, who directed this year's very, very, very good film, Hurt Locker. She made it in the 80s, and it's a really cool take on the vampire myth and maybe curing it, and it's really underrated and kind of forgotten. It's made by a really, really talented director who's finally getting her due. The second is a film that's about as old school as it gets. I mean, I could probably be a film snob anus here and recommend that you go watch Nosferatu, because it's like totally what film history is based on. But I'm not going to, because if you're like me, you'll put that on and then turn it off to play Xbox 4 minutes into it. So what should you watch instead? Watch Bram Stoker's Dracula, the adaptation directed by Francis Ford Coppola. It's gorgeous to look at, totally old-fashioned, scary, and just like the actual Dracula vampire myth, just goofy enough to be totally entertaining. Am I doing okay?
Yeah, you're doing great.
So to get Daybreakers, you take half of those films, the cool vampire half, and half of another one of my favorite films. In fact, my favorite Australian film of all time, and my favorite film about road battling with machetes in a barren wasteland over depleted resources of all time, period, Australian or not. Mad Max 2. Mel Gibson is like the most handsome dude of all time in that movie. Such a good movie. As we saw from Mad Max 2, and another really cool standout Australian film at this year's Midnight Madness, The Loved Ones, Aussies love their cars and their car chases. In Daybreakers, which is, even though it's a futuristic sci-fi movie about vampires and curing vampires and hunting down humans, manages to have a car chase with an old classic big-engined muscle car. Sure, it doesn't have an enormous guy in a hockey mask named Lord Humongous who psychologically terrorizes the populace of an oil refinery, but Daybreakers does have Willem Dafoe being Willem Dafoe, which means really weird, and that's almost as good. So see Daybreakers, but if you can't, if you've got a new Blu-ray player you want to try out, if you don't want to leave your house, and I don't blame you, watch Near Dark by Kathryn Bigelow, watch Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola, or watch Mad Max 2 the Road Warrior. Remember, if you go to zip.ca and click the banner on our website, we get money if you sign up for a free trial. So you should do it because we like money. And also, there's an episode of the very important Dudes and Dudettes in Film History show here on our website as well about Catherine Bigelow, who directed The Hurt Locker and Near Dark. And that might be worth watching if you want to watch that too. See you next week.